Graduate School of Education and Human Development. Please remain standing to honor Dean Foyer, the faculty and special guests of the George Washington University's Graduate School of Education and Human Development. Graduates, faculty, and guests, please be seated. I now call Academic Dean Lionel Howard to the podium.
Thank you, Sharon. Good morning. Okay, we're going to try that one more time. Good morning. All right. On behalf of the Graduate School of Education and Human Development, I am honored to welcome our graduates, their family and friends, and our distinguished guests to today's school celebration. Today is an important milestone for the best and brightest students drawn from communities around the world. Today's commencement ceremony marks the culmination of hard work, dedication, and perseverance, enriching and challenging dialogues and interactions, and academic activities that have provided a foundation and enhanced your skills and knowledge to actualize your personal and your professional goals. I offer my deepest respect and congratulations on your achievement today, and I look forward to learning the impact you will have in the years to come. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Dean of the Graduate School of Education and Human Development, Michael Foyer. Yeah. Many of you know Dean Foyer as a thoughtful leader, an inspiring professor, and an avid baseball fan. But did you also know that he hosts a podcast titled EdFix? He is also known for his stories and humor, providing a bit of levity when we need it the most. Dean Foyer came to GSEHD in 2010 from the National Academy of Sciences, and he is the past president of the National Academy of Education. And now, after 15 years of visionary leadership, Dean Foyer has announced that this summer he will be stepping down from his role as dean. During his tenure at GSEHD, Dean Foyer has expanded academic offerings, fostered a vibrant research community, and cultivated a people-centered community grounded in collaboration and inclusion. Under his leadership, GSEHD launched innovative programs from a nationally recognized PhD in education to pioneering initiatives in STEM teacher preparation and civic education. He deepened the school's global reach through partnerships across Europe, Asia, the Middle East, and Africa, and helped double the school's philanthropic endowment. Perhaps most enduring is the spirit of camaraderie he championed among students, faculty, and staff. While he will continue at GSEHD as a tenured professor, we are deeply grateful for his years of service and lasting contribution to our community. Please welcome Dean Michael Foyer. You want your book back? Oh, please, okay.
Well, thank you, Dean Howard. Good morning, all. Wow, you made it. I know you are a modest and humble group, but come on, give yourselves a real cheer. I want to thank you, Dean Howard, for such a generous introduction. I'm usually more sensitive to grade inflation, but this time I'll take it. It really is a treat to see you here with us this morning, Dean Howard, because officially you're still on your very well-deserved short sabbatical leave, but it's a wonderful thing to have you with us this morning. And I just want to know that while you were out, Dean Daniels did a superb job of maintaining the momentum and setting the table for the continuing feast of GSEHD. So actually, while I'm at it, I'm going to go off script for 1 minute and just say a couple of extra shout-out thank yous to some people who have been so important to me and to the school. Dr. Meg Holland, some of you have met, I presume. Yeah. Has somehow endured me for all these 15 years. It's a good example of her being, as the triumph of hope over experience, she continued with me all this time. Thank you, dear Meg. Dean Freund is not here, I believe, yet this morning, but another great partner, Dean Natalie Millman, is here with her grace, humor, and optimism. Natalie, adelante. The members of our Dean's Office suite who have been so incredibly loyal to the institution, to GSEHD, and to our aspirations. They really deserve what I would call MVP status. I take this from, the world of baseball, except in our case it stands for magically, valiantly productive. To Ron, who transformed our communications office, Laura DeLuca, our incredible, fearless assistant dean for student life, our financial gurus, Chris Goss, Jason Yoss, Devon Henderson, And today, I'm not going to try to do all the names, but please understand how much I am grateful to the team that made this day possible. Let's hear it for our commencement team, please. I want to do something which has been a tradition here and offer a few more thank yous. First of all, to our great GSEHD faculty, staff, and emeriti colleagues who have joined us this morning. We are so grateful for your dedication, for your compassion, for the heart and soul you bring to this work every day. We have some retiring faculty who are with us here, whose tenure has been absolutely monumental in the pursuit of what the school stands for. I'll just rattle off a few names quickly and ask you to join me in saluting and applauding them. Sharon Daniels, Ellen Goldman, Russell Corte, Sylvia Murata Walters, Leslie Trimmer, Jim Williams. Yeah! At this point, I want something to sort of flip the usual direction of what we do around here. And what I'd really like is to have all of GSEHD's faculty, staff, and emeriti faculty who are here to just stand for one moment so the rest of us, all of you, and you especially, can thank them for what they have been to us and to you. Could you come up? Thank you, guys. Speaking of tradition, there's something else here that I would like us to do, and that is, as you know, you, the graduates, this journey that you've been on, you had company, you had support, you had parents, you had children, you had grandchildren in some cases, I expect. And what I would like now you to do is stand and say thanks to all the wonderful people who have been with you on this journey and who are here today. We salute all of you. Okay, so with all this standing and sitting, you're probably wondering if you walked into your church or mosque instead of the Smith Center, and you're probably wondering if this guy is going to ever get to say anything other than thank you and hello, and that is my plan, and I am getting there, and I'm going to try not to rehearse all the jokes that all these poor people have heard over the last 15 years, especially the one about, being brief no matter how long it takes. I am going to try to be brief, but I want to share with you a couple of reflections. Before I do that, I want to salute a few special guests we have with us today. I don't know if I see him here yet, but the ambassador from the great state of Azerbaijan, Ambassador Kazar Ibrahim, are you here? He was going to be here. His assistant is here. Welcome. Our work with our colleagues in Azerbaijan has been truly an opportunity to bring us in touch with a people whose commitment to education is a light unto the nations. And we thank you for letting us be part of that great project. I would also like to welcome with great praise and honor Dr. Leonel Fernandez, former President of the Dominican Republic, His Excellency, and Margarita Cedeno, who is the former Vice President of the Dominican Republic. They have joined us today to celebrate the graduation of their dear Yolanda. Congratulations wherever you are, Yolanda. Wonderful. Thank you so much for being with us. I would like to honor two cherished members of our GSEHD community whom we lost this year. We mourn the passing of Dr. Iris Rotberg, a wonderful, dear, beloved professor and colleague whose dedication to her students and contributions to education policy and research will inspire generations to come. And we remember Shu-Wei He, a doctoral candidate in curriculum and instruction, a brilliant, thoughtful, ethical teacher and scholar. Today, her husband, Matt, and family are here with us. We wish you long life. May the memory be for a blessing. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Graduates, a bit of data. You are joining a special group. The word elite may not be fashionable these days, but I'll take the chance. About 10% of the 24 million Americans aged 25 and older hold master's degrees, and get this, just 2% have doctoral degrees. Doctoral candidates, let me single you out for a moment. Would you please rise so we can salute you with extra applause? I welcome you all to a club in which membership is based on academic achievement, and as you know from your time at GW, a certain amount of tolerance for bureaucracy. And speaking of tolerance, here's some qualitative data. You've completed this chapter in your careers during very difficult times. What with the biological catastrophe of COVID, political and economic disruption, climate calamities, global violence, you have demonstrated grace and resilience. You have managed your personal and professional affairs, and in general have been role models for what we in the business would call decision-making with extreme uncertainty on an hourly basis. These are indeed strangely difficult and scary times, even for congenital optimists like me. Many of us look for balance between the moral commitment to stay connected, to not sin by silence, as President Abraham Lincoln once warned us about, and at the same time to not let the relentless flow of difficult news damage our emotional health. Do we stay the course and fight for what's right, or do we express our dissent and protect our physical well-being by checking out? I'm helped in this trapeze act finding my own comfort zone by one of the great economists of the 20th century. Albert Hirschman was a refugee from Nazi Germany, a brilliant economist. He held positions at Yale, Columbia, Harvard, the Institute for Advanced Study. And one of his most important contributions was a short book called Exit, Voice, and Loyalty. Here's the basic argument, and I encourage you to look this up, go over to Gelman Library, see if you can check it out. We know that the threat or execution of exit is central to the workings of our economy. It creates incentives for improvement, both in the private and the public sector. If you don't like Macy's, you go to Bloomingdale's. If you don't like your local school, then you choose another one. And I know I'm touching on some sensitive territory here, especially with my dear friend, the Chancellor of DCPS, standing right behind me. If your streets have too many potholes, you can check out and move to the burbs. You get the idea. Hirschman knew, however, that exit not only creates incentives for change, but it can be both a rational and morally legitimate reaction. After all, he was grateful to have been able to exit, to escape from the brutality of his time. But he also knew that exit is not the only rational reaction, and that it can actually cause even more social decay. His concern about public education, for example, was prescient. And here I'll paraphrase. Suppose, for whatever reason, public schools deteriorate. Then rational parents may send their children to private schools. This exit may occasion some impulse toward improvement of the public schools, but it can also be less significant than the loss experienced by those motivated and capable people who are putting up the fight to make their schools live up to their ideals. In short, does the rational decision to quit make things better or worse for those who are left behind? So for people facing the temptation to quit when they are angry, Hirschman offers a more hopeful scenario. Now, I don't know about whether this will work with Macy's and Bloomingdale's, but I can tell you that in the political world, if you are frustrated by your government, and I suspect I'm touching on something here that sounds vaguely relevant, don't quit, don't renounce your citizenship and move. Use your voice. Get on the community bulletin board. Tell your neighbors what you think. Sign up with the local political club. Lobby for change. Go to rallies. Use social media. Mobilize protest. Show up on election day. In other words, more satisfying than exit and more beneficial will be hanging in rather than hanging up. In the light of all that's going on that we are all living through today, many of us are struggling. When should we use our free exit card? How can we use our voices ethically and safeguard others' right to have their voices too? No easy answers here, folks. I wish I had the formula. I just ask you to keep all of this in mind. It may help you find the balance that we all need. I'm reminded of my dear old uncle who used to say that if things get bad in America, he would leave and move back to Brooklyn. But I'm also reminded of my other uncles who stayed in Europe until it was too late. To stay or to go, that is again for many of us the question. Faced with these conflicting impulses, I turned to another source from my days as an English major 100 years ago. It was F. Scott Fitzgerald, who reminded us that intelligence is actually the capacity to hold two incompatible ideas in your mind at the same time and not go crazy. That's a useful reminder, especially in our field, because as researchers, we know we look for evidence to support sustainable and generalizable progress. But we also have to honor those smaller changes, the things that help some people in some places? Did you devise a new approach to helping students at your school who are dealing with disabilities? Did you figure out a better way to use digital technology in instruction of mathematics to a classroom of diverse learners? Our tradition teaches that to save one soul is to save the universe. It would be nice if our efforts generalized, but sometimes we can take some comfort knowing that in saving even some people, we may have saved the universe. Not bad. So you get the point. And if managing that kind of cognitive dissonance seems like an impossible dream, well, I've got someone else that I rely on. It was Amos Oz, the great Israeli novelist and peace activist, who taught that everything born of a dream is destined to feel like a slight disappointment. And the only way to keep a dream perfect is to never try to live it out. So putting it all together, my takeaway message, and I know you're ready to take out, you're ready for me to take myself away, and I'm getting there. The takeaway message is what I recommend, with a nice sized grain of salt: choose voice over exit. Choose decisions that make even a small difference. Don't panic when your thoughts are in conflict. And don't be discouraged when reality intercepts your dreams. This is my last commencement speech as your dean, and maybe I should have just opted for what the novelist Kurt Vonnegut apparently did at some commencement years ago. He offered the graduates a 2-word message: wear sunscreen. Thanks for enduring me these 15 years. Thanks for enduring this little sermon. And in any case, I want to thank all of you for an incredible ride, for your generosity, for helping make us and me feel like we have a family. Your path ahead will have potholes, and you'll need a strong suspension system to keep from crashing. As you've shown me, our strongest support comes from friends and colleagues and loved ones. Now, it turns out that as I'm planning my transition, so too is the great Lester Holt of NBC News. And to borrow again from Mr. Holt, one of my heroes, a paragon of journalistic virtue, I'll sign out now borrowing his simple message. Please take care of yourselves and each other. Speaking of people who know what it means to care for each other, I have the great honor and privilege of introducing this year's GSEHD Commencement Celebration speaker, Dr. Louis Farabee. Dr. Farabee received his master's degree in social administration from GSEHD in 1998, and has been the chancellor of the DC Public Schools now since 2018. He is a veteran education leader. He has over 2 decades of experience as a teacher, principal, district leader. Prior to joining DCPS, Dr. Farabee served as superintendent in Indianapolis, where he successfully raised the district's graduation rate by 15%. And before Indianapolis, Dr. Farabee was the chief of staff in the Durham Public Schools. His passion for advancing student achievement has been a driving force throughout his career, and he exemplifies how GSEHD alumni are making a difference. Please welcome Chancellor Louis Farabee.
Thank you, Dean Foyer, for that introduction. Let's give Dean another round of applause for a great team. Thank you. So, a couple warnings here. If you check your program, this is a celebration address. So there will be applause, and I will be asking some of you to stand and be recognized. Dean Foyer, I'll be more than 2 words, but as an educator, there will be a check for understanding. So there are 2 points that I want to come back to in this check for understanding. But first and foremost, good morning and congratulations to the George Washington University School of Education and Human Development class of 2025. Now, just a few years ago when I came through, you had to emphasize that the. So for those of you that go out, it's not just George Washington University. But today's accomplishment is made possible thanks to many people here today who helped the class of 2025 reach this special moment. From your professors sitting here, from parents, siblings, spouses, family members, and friends that are flanking the graduates today, let's give a round of applause to your village. And as a proud GSEHD alumnus, it feels good to say, welcome to the GW family. When I received the news that I was going to be the chancellor of DC Public Schools and to work under Mayor Bowser, one of the first things came to mind, and that was a return to DC, but also a return to Foggy Bottom. Being a student in the nation's capital, something is just special about that. Whether you are a graduate student or you are like my son who graduated from DC Public Schools, at School Without Walls right here on the campus of GW, whether you are a kindergartner or an 8th grader, it's just something different about being a student here in Washington, D.C. My time in GSEHD probably was like yours, very rewarding experience, but it wasn't easy. I'm quite sure some of you can relate. My journey, similar to yours, came with some moments of uncertainty. But before I go further, I want to acknowledge that we celebrated a special day last week, but that wasn't enough. So, for our mothers that are here today, my mom would say to me, even though I'm only child, only one, Mother's Day should be 2 Sundays. So, for all the mothers in the room, please stand and be recognized. Let's give it to all of our mothers. All of them. Please feel free to take your seats. And yes, you can have your Sunday Mother's Day dinner again this weekend. But I share that with you because I was recently having a conversation with my mother about my experience as a newly minted educator. Maybe similar to some of you in the room today, I'm a proud member of the family business. I was raised by 2 educators. And my mom and I were kind of reminiscing on a story from our first year in the classroom. So picture this. Newly minted 4th grade teacher, elementary school, and it's a special time of year. It's testing season. So if you're in DC, that's DC Cape. If you're in Virginia, which I was at the time, it's SOLs. If you're in Maryland was an MCAP. Yep, so you guys get the gist of what testing season's like, and I saw some of your faces, so you know. And being honest, at that moment, my students performing well on those standardized tests was really important to me. I wanted our students to be able to show what they were capable of, to show their mastery. And if you've ever been an elementary teacher, you know you can teach integers in October. In March, it never happened. And so I wanted to make sure that I was taking advantage of those last few days before testing. And so we were doing our prep sessions for math, reading, and even science at that time. But I forgot to take a moment and have them participate in a time-honored school tradition just days before Mother's Day weekend, because I was focused on testing. Anybody know what happens in schools the days before Mother's Day weekend? That's right, we are making Mother's Day cards. We are making all the Mother's Day gifts for our young people. So come that Monday morning, I was met outside my classroom door by a group of unhappy moms who didn't receive their Mother's Day cards or Mother's Day gifts from their precious babies. I know, it still hits for me today. That same reaction. When the moms came through, thanks to them and their very generous feedback, they reminded me of an important lesson that I want to share with you today that is still with me as a part of my career. And that is to find balance. Find balance in your approach for driving student outcomes, but also all the other things that you're responsible for, especially the relationships that you're responsible for cultivating. And it's a principle that is still with me today. And so whether you're an educator and you have the uncomfortable moments, and you may feel like you come up short, just remember what I shared with you today and how you find balance through those moments. So if you're an educator, you might be finding it difficult to connect with your students, but you will find ways to inspire them and you will get into your groove. If you are a school leader, you may be thinking, how do you bring together such diverse perspectives in a community? But you will also build a strong and healthy school community. And then you're in public policy, you will have to be brave. You will have to navigate the complex issues of the day, but you also will remove barriers to teaching and learning to ensure that students succeed. And if you're still trying to figure out what you're going to do, when you walk out of the Charles E. Smith Center today, it will be clear what your path will be and what you will do next. A very special alumna from George Washington University once said, when you have things that are very important to you, when there are things you want to be, it takes work. And I know that you all have put in the work. I know that you put in the work to be impactful, to impact the lives of your students, school community, and shape our students so they influence the world. And many of you have done it with great purpose and been balancing being a mother, being a father, a partner, and even holding down your job responsibilities as a GSEHD student. So let's give a round of applause for all the students who've been balancing that work. And I have to do this as a point of pride. If you're one of the DC Public Schools 16 graduates today who've been balancing your work responsibilities with our young people in the nation's capital, let's give them a round of applause as well. It takes work. We know you put in the work. And in DC Public Schools, we like to think our work is not for the faint of heart in the nation's capital. Class of 2025, I've been briefed on you, I've been following you, I had the pleasure of meeting some of the graduates. And what's clear to me is my second point to you, and that is be prepared to be tapped. When I was closing out my first year as an assistant principal, was at bus duty, when I came back into the office, I had a note on my desk to call Superintendent Terry Greer. Terry Greer was the superintendent in Guilford County Schools in North Carolina, about an hour away from where I was currently serving as assistant principal. I didn't know Dr. Greer at all. I thought about not even making that call, but I said, hey, let me call. And that call was an unexpected opportunity. Talked to Dr. Greer, we had a meeting, and from that meeting, I was appointed to be the youngest principal in the state of North Carolina and at one of the lowest performing schools in the state of North Carolina at that time. You can clap that up. Yes. I share that with you because that tap was an opportunity. It was my first transformational leadership opportunity. And again, I entered the role with that same spirit of balance, driving student outcomes, but also making those connections with my school community. We put in the work together. In just a few years, our academic outcomes exceeded the district average and also the state average. We put in the work. That opportunity is one of the reasons why I stand before you today as the longest serving chancellor, as the fastest improving urban school district in the nation, DC Public Schools. So graduates, I say to you today, be ready. Be ready to be tapped. Be ready to put in the work. Be ready to be impactful and have balance in your work. Graduates, I know that you have been prepared, but at the George Washington University, we do more than just prepare. We ignite you. Class of 2025, lead the way, light the way, and we can't wait to see all the great things that you will accomplish. I thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Farabee. It is always a pleasure to provide an opportunity for one of our graduate students to speak at this milestone event. Through a competitive process, fellow students selected this year's student speaker, who was eloquent, thoughtful, and insightful. It is my great honor to introduce Jacqueline Hatch. Jackie is graduating today with a Master's of Education and Human Development in International Education, where her studies focused on the nexus of development in higher education. During her time at GW, she has been a lab leader for the GW Refugee Educational Advancement Lab, REAL, and has led the International Education Association as its president. Last fall, Jackie served as the inaugural UNESCO Graduate Fellow at the Geneva Liaison Office. While there, she became the first intern ever to serve on an expert panel at the UN, advocating for minority issues and self-representation in learning spaces. It's with great pleasure that I invite to the stage to address the graduating class of 2025.
All right, well, thank you so much, and good morning, everyone. I want to thank my new friend, Dr. Farabee, for his inspiring words. You leave quite an example to live up to, and I promise the second I get home, I am writing in my notes app, prepare to be tapped, and as all should you. Fantastic. I also want to share that I did not tell my parents I would be speaking this morning, so Mom, Dad, surprise. Whoops. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything. To all of our family members here today, thank you for your unwavering support and your steadfast love. We could not have arrived here without you. Please give a round of applause to your families. All right, GSEHD. I thought long and hard about what connects every single one of us here today with so many disciplines, roadmaps, and blueprints of how we want to use our now expertise. And the most obvious response I could come up with is, well, we wanted to become educators. In all of the nuances of policies, institutions, and pedagogies, we shared a desire to impact the life of one or the lives of many for their own betterment. And while that remains true, I want you to think about a time where anything was easy during this journey. Anything came right to you, you knew the answers to. It's never been simple at GSEHD. They never let us settle. What connects us goes far beyond this field. We arrived here 2, 3, 4+ years ago, and simply put, each of us were curious. Carrying an innate fervor to seek, explore, challenge, occasionally, and rightfully so, disrupt, and dared to ask, what if? An exciting, yet now somewhat daunting query, but take a page from any of the greats, those whose activism and advocacy shaped education as we know it today. Eleanor Roosevelt, Horace Mann, Judy Heumann, Charles L. Reason, and the list goes on and on and on. You may or may not know these tall giants and their stories by heart, so instead, look to the other greats, those of whose stories you know like the back of your hand, the ones who are sitting beside you here today, your classmates. For me, they came in the form of a young woman from Morocco who taught herself English conversing with students as a nighttime custodian before becoming a student herself. Another young woman who advocated for gender equity in STEM education policy. A young man who will soon become one of the most dedicated counselors to youth with cognitive disabilities. And an entire student-led lab, very fittingly called REAL, composed of some of the most fiercely determined allies I have ever known, whose mission to bring visibility to the persisting challenges of displaced persons and those living under duress due to armed conflict is, in my humble opinion, legendary. Please give these people a round of applause. Like yours, oh my gosh, like yours, my classmates have been some of my best teachers, change makers who step by step left an indelible mark on this institution and who energized me to try things I never would have considered possible otherwise. And let's not forget our beloved GSEHD faculty, further igniting this same spirit of discovery, a bevy of academic heroes, ones who became co-researchers and collaborators, to the ones who lectured ethics, both practical and pragmatic, who preached human capital theory, amongst others, which in this final lap, faculty, I assure you, all of us leave here understanding, correct? Every student, please nod your head in agreement. Yes, wonderful. Please give your faculty a round of applause. Somewhere along the way, a family was formed, a large, productive family who doesn't shy away from a healthy discussion, but nonetheless a family. And I credit this family not only for my own little victories, but for the belief that being an educator rests on much more than your ability to synthesize the deep well of compounding theories, present compelling, groundbreaking research, or even deliver a well-structured dissertation. This family has taught me that being an educator is trusting that when you enter any space of learning, you will not only be brave enough to ask, what if, but instead, if not me, who, and if not now, when. GSEHD today is a celebration, but as we transition from students to graduates, classmates to colleagues, and transcend into what I am confident will be an unstoppable cohort of practitioners, we are reminded of the hard work that lies ahead, the work that now rests on our very capable shoulders. We know this much is certain. We will live to witness injustice, face more adversity, and encounter choices that test our tenacity and our resilience, whatever the plight. May you always meet every obstacle with that same sense of wonder that you began here with. And perhaps, when the moment calls, take a page from the late, great John Lewis and get in good trouble, necessary trouble. Remember your family, this family, and above all, remain unapologetically and vehemently curious. And who knows, maybe someday, someone may be taking a page from your book. Graduates, congratulations. Well done. Get out there, stay curious, and raise high. Thank you. Okay. Stop it, I'm blushing. I now would like to invite Dean Fuhrer back to the podium to present the Dean's Outstanding Alumni Achievement Award.
Wow, thank you so much, Jackie. Congratulations. Inspiring and whew, what great messaging, I'll tell you. Take notes, guys. Important stuff. Thank you so much. Well, it's a pleasure now to recognize Dr. Elizabeth Eder as our 2025 GSEHD Outstanding Alumni Achievement Award winner. Elizabeth earned her master's in museum education and has shown extraordinary dedication to the field. She currently serves as the interim head of education at the Anacostia Community Museum. She has held key roles at the Smithsonian American Art Museum and the National Museum of Asian Art. She's taught at Johns Hopkins, has worked in Japan and China, has written many scholarly articles and books, has a PhD in the social foundations of education from a small place up the road called the University of Maryland. And during her distinguished career, she has been committed to enhancing teaching, educational outreach, and cultural exchange. I'll just add a footnote here. If you're paying attention these days, you know how hard it is in the world of the arts, in the museums, and we are grateful to have people like Elizabeth who are staying the course. Elizabeth, we are so thrilled to honor you with our Outstanding Alumni Achievement Award for your efforts to create inclusive and engaging learning environments. We salute you. On behalf of the whole GSEHD community, we thank you, congratulations, and come up so that I can give you this beautiful framed award. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. We will now commence the moment you've been waiting for. Here we go. We'll start with our doctoral graduates.
It is our pleasure to recognize our graduates earning the degrees of Doctor of Education and Doctor of Philosophy. Doctoral graduates, please come forward to be recognized. We invite the curriculum and instruction advocates to stand and prepare to hood their graduates.
Shui He, Doctor of Education. Shui He, Doctor of Education in Curriculum Instruction, awarded posthumously and accepted today by her husband, Matt Barkel. Her faculty advocate is Patricia Tate.
Dr. Xiaoyue Zhang, Music Becoming Minor in Performance Spaces. Their faculty advocate is Jonathan Eagle. Dr. Jing Ni, Bridging Two Worlds, How Transnational CFL Teacher Candidates Construct, Negotiate, and Perform Their Language Teacher Identity in a U.S. TEP. Their faculty advocate is Karen Kortekamp. Dr. Corey Haynes, co-designing abolitionist curriculum with youth activists, a participatory study. Their faculty advocate is Christine Nganga and Arshad Ali. Dr. Kinari Sakamoto Pierce, the impact of a professional learning community on the educational equity mindset of high school history teachers. Their faculty advocate is Karen Kortekamp.
Dr. Latasha Williams, Doctor of Education in Curriculum and Instruction. Her faculty advocate is Dr. Tiffany Sikorsky.
We invite the educational leadership and administration advocates to stand and prepare to hood their graduates. Dr. Michelle Kelsey Mitchell, Analysis of K-12 Educator Well-Being Policy. Their faculty advocate is Jennifer Clayton. Dr. Angela Lewis, Perceptions of Succession Planning Practices and Their Influence on Work Engagement in K-12 School Districts. Their faculty advocate is Jennifer Clayton. Dr. Nadia Fairclough, Equity-Focused Leadership for Transformative Instructional Practices. Their faculty advocate is Christine Ganga. Dr. Shampriest Bevel, Closing the Affection Gap, How Principals Foster Teacher-Student Relationships in Urban Middle Schools with Disadvantaged Populations. Their faculty advocate is Jennifer Clayton. We invite the Higher Education Administration advocates to stand and prepare to hood their graduates. Dr. Danielle Phillips, Keeping Good Company While Finding One's Voice, the influence of natural mentoring on undergraduate student self-authorship. Their faculty advocate is Rick Jakeman. Dr. Ashanti Carter, Empowering Futures, the capital of health pathway programs in addressing educational inequity in health careers. Their faculty advocate is Dwayne Quasey Wright. We invite the human and organizational learning advocates to stand and prepare to hood their graduates. Dr. Berlin Alfreda Cooper Howard, The Nature of Continuance Organizational Commitment, a phenomenological study on the essence of federal employees' commitment behaviors. Their faculty advocate is Andrea Casey. Dr. Anna Marie Siegel, Inclusion in Predominantly White Institutions of Higher Education in the United States, the Voices of Black Women Faculty. Their faculty advocate is Maria Che. Dr. Maura Elizabeth Ashby Walden, an exploration of healthcare leaders' experience as they endeavor to cultivate a climate of psychological safety. Their faculty advocate is Ellen Goldman. Dr. Stephanie Holder, physicians' experiences with cultural competency in clinical practice at a Mid-Atlantic hospital and practice sites. Their faculty advocate is Shasta Khaliji. Dr. Kim McManus, Trailblazers, a narrative inquiry into Black women's senior executives' voice in the U.S. federal government. Their faculty advocate is Andrea Casey. Dr. Celeste Lin, Organizational Justice Enactment Behaviors of Managers and Corporations During Planned Organizational Change. Their faculty advocate is Andrea Casey. Dr. Ina Giocondi, a phenomenological investigation of ecocentrism in coach education. Their faculty advocate is Julia Storberg Walker. Dr. Nadia Naz Butt, Lived Experiences of American Muslim Professionals, a study of perceived organizational support with DEI efforts. Their faculty advocate is Shasta Khaliji. Dr. David Mossinger, Rapid Adaptation During COVID-19, How Undergraduate University Nursing Faculty Adjusted to the Sudden Transition to Online Teaching. Their faculty advocate is Julia Storberg Walker. Dr. Danielle Evans Corbin, Exploring the Experiences of Adults with ADHD and/or Dyslexia, in structured workplace learning events. Their faculty advocate is Julia Storberg Walker. Dr. Dawn Bontempo, Blended Approaches, a Q methodology study of hybrid forms of governance. Their faculty advocate is Julia Storberg Walker. Dr. Sydney Williams, the learning experiences of undergraduate nursing students in community-engaged clinical rotations serving underrepresented and vulnerable communities. Their faculty advocate is Russell Court. Dr. Haoshan Liang, High School Teachers Informal Learning in Online Communities of Practice, a study in Zhongshan City, China. Their faculty advocate is Yoshie Nakamura. We invite the Special Education and Disability Studies advocates to stand and prepare to hood their graduates. Dr. Nicole Shivers, The Social Experiences of Autistic People of Color, a qualitative study. Their faculty advocate is Elizabeth Tuckwiller. We invite the counseling and human development advocates to stand and prepare to hood their graduates. Dr. Brooke Fulton DeLong, The Impact of the COVID-19 Pandemic on the Mental Health, Wellness, and Identity Development of Transgender and Gender-Expansive Community Members. Their faculty advocate is Harvey Peters. Dr. Preet Kaur, Echoes of the Past Lived in the Present, a hermeneutic phenomenological inquiry of the impact of forced migration and resettlement on second-generation children of refugees. Their faculty advocate is Bhagmi Das. Dr. Melanie Minges, Generalized and Crisis-Specific Self-Efficacy, Burnout, and Secondary Traumatic Stress in the Behavioral Health Crisis Workforce. Their faculty advocate is Maggie Morganfield Parker. Please give a round of applause for our doctoral graduates. We will now recognize the graduates receiving their Education Specialist degrees. Education Specialist graduates, please come forward to be recognized. Erica Moss. Nicholas Wall. Ricardo Montes. Tina Bradley. Tiara Stewart. Rhonda Ferguson. Yolanda Harris. Pernell Hicks. Fatima Franklin Freeman. Latasha Gross. Ramel Barrow. Yvonne Weinstein. Tiffany Emmanuel Wright. Leslie Nicholson. Please give a round of applause for the Education Specialist graduates. We will now recognize those graduates who will be receiving their Master of Arts degree, starting with the Department of Counseling and Human Development. Graduates, please come forward. J.J. Olson. Thais Littleton. Ladies Gutierrez. Nicole Varbedian. Linicia Lobo. Ayana Culhane. Margaret DuPont. Jeannie Arnson Serrata. Nikki Arya. Max Adelman. Grace Tenser. Evan Fischel. Aaron DeMena. Julia Stroll. Taylor Hyatt. Natalie Frampton. Jordan Landsman. Emma Reed. Dia Mira Elder. Amanda Confair. Lira Tomjanovich. Bridget Sorensen. Jennifer Lim. Mackenzie Menaker. Ava Hardin, Kendra Plummer, Rainey Small, Patricia L. Williams, Kyunghan Ren, Jasmine Langley, Aylin DeRuman, Amanda Hera, Victoria Dugan, Jia Yun Long, Jamia Purchase, Emily Steinhoffel, Allison Denier, Brian Rowe, George Squire, Dorothy Young, Vildana Salkic, Elizabeth Wilson, Jillian Eilers, Dina Habibi, Donna Schultz, Ziyu Wang, please give a round of applause for the Department of Counseling and Human Development graduates. We will now recognize graduates from the Department of Curriculum and Pedagogy, receiving their Master of Arts and Master of Education degrees. Graduates, please come forward. Lisa Shaw, Camille Lee, Fidan Suleymanova, Jamie Reed, Anna Griggs, Katie Finkel, Alexis Howard, Jennifer Lee. Yolanda Fernandez Sedano. Mia Bezos. Molly Boone. Oriana Hertz. Heidi Boyles. Samantha Burns. Please give a round of applause for the curriculum and pedagogy graduates. We will now recognize the graduates in the Department of Educational Leadership, receiving their Master of Arts in Teaching, and Master of Philosophy degrees. Graduates, please come forward. Jared Sosa. Jamila Mamadova. Mesa Agazada. Marybun Khaki. Lala Abdullayeva Ahmad. Layla Ismail Zadeh.
Husniya Gubadova.
Orhan Sharifli. Ulkar Sharifli. Eltaj Maharamova. Yagana Bektashi. Vusala Afandieva. Anara Sahiboglu. Zumrud Valieva. Farida Najafova. Mia Cleary. Megan O'Malley. Claire Hardiman. Veronica Bocanegra Monsalve. Emilia Hardin. Xenia Tishkus. Kobe Macpherson. Fidel Selvi. Elisa Boyer. Marcos Interiano Sanchez. Jackie Hatch. Katie Coleman. Rachel Shim. Maddie Belknap. Hillary Roll. Julia Rogers. Cooper Sved. Danielle Black. Alexandra Sheriff. Navin Matilda Morgan Curtis. Mary Christenberry. Patrick Lovelace. Maddie Souffleris. Jacob Hers. Nicole Gray. Hannah Nyberg. Amaya Lorraine Bullock. Leilani Jauga. Christina Alexandra Taylor. Johari Joseph. Joy Flournoy. Mary Catherine Bohemer. Fangi Ma. Madeline Cross Grove. Emma Fazzini. Catherine Elizabeth Modica. Mark Olinger. Carol Stringer. Hannah Lena Woolley. Daniel Kling. Ruth Gal Gabrielle. Talia Pratt. Jessica Borchardt. Courtney Mathis. Brianna Boykins. Eben McPherson. Mark Pedroza. Maurice Thompson. Please give a round of applause for the Department of Educational Leadership graduates. We will now recognize the graduates in the Department of Human and Organizational Learning, receiving the Master of Arts degree. Graduates, please come forward. Daniel Wyatt. Danya Rogers. Claire Garrett. Ying Xin Zhang. Ali Khan. Megan Mann. Nancy Frazier. Carla Ritz. Lene Wilkerson. Chichi Amadi. Michael Basil. Marvin Lim. Emma Miles. Yoshida Kirkwood. Melanie Ulchenbruns. Emma Victoria Duke. Natalie Jackaman. Jay Burkhoff. Matthew Mother. Christine Jorgensen. Carlos Martinez. Please give a round of applause for the Department of Human and Organizational Learning graduates. We will now recognize the graduates in the Department of Special Education and Disability Studies, receiving the Master of Arts degree. Graduates, please come forward. Michael Armstrong. Chris Clary.
John Davis Fitzgerald.
Marcella Lansbury. Shaka Davis. Jenna El-Sebi. Rebecca Brennan. Nina Chadab. Alexa Dressel.
Tom Mayunga Mikasa.
Monet George. Edwina Howard. Nikita Walker. Muriel Villalobos Esquivel. Mia Lassay. Maya Perkins. Yekaterina Cherkina. Brielle Jacques. Enoch Afote. Congratulations, class of 2025.
I don't hear it from that side. Let's hear it. Amazing. That whistle comes to you courtesy of my childhood in New York. Wow. Congratulations to the great class of 2025. What a great day. It's now, I'm going to have the additional pleasure of introducing a dear friend, our alumnus and a member of the GW Alumni Association Executive Committee, Max Gohala Nguyen, who will formally welcome the class of 2025 to the GW alumni community. And he'll do that even though I have so much trouble pronouncing his name correctly. Max, forgive me. All yours.
All right, I promise it's short. I'm your last speech before you go to brunch. Make sure you eat a lot. Great. Good morning, graduates. One more round. You did it. My name is Maxwell Gohala Nguyen, and I am a proud 2016 GSEHD alum. Shout out to my higher ed friends. So here we are. I am also president of the GW Alumni Association. On behalf of the entire GW Alumni Association, I offer my sincere congratulations to each of you on your achievements. Today, I am honored to welcome you to this unique community of scholars. With over 330,000 alumni worldwide, our community continues to create positive change, strengthen connections, and produce lasting impacts for current and future students. As educators and practitioners, each of you have found a passion for helping those around you. Now, as new graduates, you have a unique opportunity to use your calling to create a brighter world. Not only does this include those in your closest circles, but all those you only briefly interact with. Today, I ask that each of you take your newly minted degrees and use them to continue creating meaningful, impactful moments. The world can be a big, unknowing place, but you hold the keys to continue using your kindness to create light in darkness. During my time at GW, I found the courage to live more fully and authentically and find ways to better the communities I found myself within. I worked to create new resources on campus and to challenge the status quo so that all individuals could find their success. After graduating, I was fortunate to be able to continue my impact by working alongside other members of the GW community. As new alumni, I hope that you too continue to hold your experiences in the highest regard and never lose sight of your impact. You have done the work. Now is the time to make your mark on the world. While you are out changing the world, please don't forget about us. I encourage you to stay engaged. I think they're okay. I encourage you to stay engaged with GW, share your story, meet other alumni, mentor students, or simply, and please, read our newsletter. The strength of our community continues to grow when we are able to share knowledge, insight, and expertise with our current and future students. Once again, congratulations to the class of 2025, and welcome to the GW alumni community.
Wonderful, wonderful. How about that? A GSEHD alum is the head of the whole GW Alumni Association. Max, you rock! Okay, welcome to the world of alumni. You know what that means? No, it's not just that. No. I know what you're thinking. Okay, fine, you will be asked, but really? You contribute in so many ways. It is your wisdom, your wit, and your where are we but together. So please stay with us, keep in touch, and be part of this alumni association, because they've really got the future in mind. Well, this was a wonderful celebration. It was a good dress rehearsal. Now we're going to take it from the top. No, okay, fine. You're not going to hear my speech again. Don't worry. I can't thank you enough, all of you, and congratulations again. The music we had today was made possible by the great Cherry Blossom String Quartet. Let's hear it for them. By the way, that was a group established by the Presidential Performing Arts Scholarship students at the GW University. How wonderful. This brings an end to our formal ceremony for this morning. Please remain seated until the faculty and the graduates have recessed. You know what that means. We're going on recess. We're going to have some lunch. We look forward to seeing everybody at the mall, at the National Mall, tomorrow morning. The weather is supposed to be perfect, courtesy of the Department of Meteorological Sciences at the George Washington University. We thank you again, all of you, the families, the graduates, our superb faculty. I'm going to take this moment to say a special thank you to my colleagues. I love you. I will be with you. We'll continue to do great things together. Thank you all very, very much. Congratulations again to the class of 2025.